Cruise ship cleaner wakes in billionaire's bed. His reaction changes her life forever. Colette's eyes flew open to unfamiliar silk sheets and a man's voice cutting through the darkness. "Who the hell are you, and what are you doing in my bed?" She froze, her cleaning cart abandoned somewhere in the corridor, her uniform wrinkled against $1,000 linens. Nathan Fraser stood in the doorway, his expression unreadable. She'd fallen asleep in the wrong room, the billionaire investor's room. And now her entire world was about to change. The overhead light blazed on. Colette scrambled upright, mind racing. 18-hour shifts for 6 days straight. She'd entered Suite 427 to turn down the bed, but this was 429. The Egyptian cotton had felt like heaven when she'd sat for just one moment. That moment had cost her everything. Nathan Fraser remained in the doorway, tall frame filling the space. Expensive suit, tie loosened, returning from business dinner. His hazel eyes assessed her with unsettling intensity. This wasn't just any passenger. This was an investor who owned pieces of this floating palace. "I asked you a question." Controlled voice, sharp edge beneath. Colette stood, smoothing her gray uniform with trembling hands. She wouldn't grovel. "Mr. Fraser, I apologize. I entered the wrong suite, 427 instead of 429. I sat down for a moment and fell asleep. It won't happen again." He studied her face. Most passengers looked through her like furniture. This man looked at her like an equation to solve. "How long have you been working today?" She blinked. "Sir?" "Simple question. How many hours?" She calculated. "Started at 4, now past 10. 18 hours, sir. But that's not unusual. When you need the money." Something shifted in his expression. "What's your name?" "Colette Hammond, sir." "Miss Hammond." He stepped further inside. She moved toward escape. He held up a hand. "I'm not going to hurt you, but you look about to collapse. When's the last time you ate?" The question derailed her completely. "I had a break around 3. 7 hours ago." He moved to the phone. "This is Fraser and 429. Room service, full dinner, soup, main course, dessert, whatever the chef recommends. Coffee, strong, make it 2 dinners." "Mr. Fraser, I can't—" "Sit down before you fall down, Miss Hammond. I'm not calling security, and I'm not reporting you. But I'm curious why someone clearly intelligent enough to be terrified of losing her job would risk falling asleep in a passenger's bed." She should leave. But something in his voice, in the way he looked at her like an actual person, made her sink into the elegant chair. When was the last time someone had asked if she was okay? "I'm sure the staff are treated well, Mr. Fraser. The company has policies." "Policies aren't reality." He took the chair opposite. "Tell me about reality, Miss Hammond. Why 18-hour shifts?" "Why do you care?" The question escaped before she could stop it. Approval flickered across his face. "Good question. Maybe because I've spent the evening listening to people talk at me about profit margins, and not when looked at me like I was more than a signature on a contract. You, on the other hand, looked genuinely terrified. It was refreshingly honest. "I'm terrified because I need this job. I have a son, a mother. They depend on the money I send home. If I lose this position, I lose everything." Nathan leaned back, studying her. "How old is your son?" 16. Marcus. He's brilliant. Wants to study engineering, but that costs money we don't have yet. So I work extra shifts. I send everything I can, and I fell asleep in your bed because I made a stupid mistake." "Not stupid. Human. What's his name?" "Marcus. He builds things, takes apart electronics and puts them back together better than before." "You must miss him." The simple statement nearly undid her. "Every single day." A knock saved her. Nathan answered, tipped generously, wheeled the card himself. The sight of a billionaire pushing room service was so incongruous she almost laughed. "I can do that, sir." "I'm aware, but you've worked 18 hours and I've sat in meetings, so eat, Miss Hammond. That's an order from an investor." Her stomach growled. Nathan's smile transformed his face from austere to boyish. Against better judgment, she smiled back. They ate in surprising companionship. She described the intimacy of cleaning private spaces, stories pieced together from what people left behind. "You notice things," Nathan observed. "Most people move through the world half asleep. When you're invisible, you see a lot." His fork paused. "You think you're invisible?" I know I am. To passengers anyway. We're scenery. Until tonight, I doubt you'd noticed me once. Nathan set down his fork, gaze holding hers. You're right. I didn't notice you. But I notice you now, Colette. The use of her first name sent warmth through her chest. Dangerous. This man existed in a different stratosphere, a man who could destroy her career with a word. She stood abruptly. Thank you for the meal, Mr. Fraser. I should go. Nathan rose. Suddenly they were too close. She caught his scent, expensive and clean with underlying warmth, close enough to see gold flecks in his hazel eyes. Will you be all right? Getting back to your cabin? I've been finding my way around ships for 3 years. That's not what I asked. The concern nearly cracked her. I'll be fine, and I... Thank you for not reporting me, for the food, for treating me like a person. You are a person, Colette. Don't let anyone make you forget that. She moved toward the door. His voice stopped her. Colette. She looked back. If you ever need anything... I can't need anything from you, Mr. Fraser. You understand that, don't you? This conversation, this dinner, it can't happen again. You're a passenger, an investor, and I'm staff. Those lines exist for a reason. Something flickered in his eyes. Disappointment. Understanding. The lines exist, but that doesn't mean they're right. Right doesn't matter when wrong costs me my job. She opened the door. Good night, Mr. Fraser. Nathan, he called. If we're going to pretend this didn't matter, at least call me Nathan. But Colette didn't respond. She walked away quickly, heart doing strange things in her chest, realizing she'd just spent an hour with a man who made her feel more seen than she'd felt in years. A man who was absolutely, completely off limits. The ship moved through dark waters. Somewhere in the distance, the ocean against the hull sounded like a warning. The next morning arrived brutally. Alarm at 4. Marina, her bunkmate, already dressing in dim light. You came in late last night. Everything okay? Fine. Just lost track of time. The lie tasted bitter. Marina's eyes narrowed. You're a terrible liar, Letty, but I won't push. Just be careful. If only Marina knew. The crew quarters were utilitarian. Metal bunks, shared bathrooms, constant engine hum. The contrast to passenger suites was stark. Last night had been fantasy. This was reality. The morning shift blurred. Strip beds, replace linens, stock amenities, vacuum, dust, repeat. Colette's hands worked on autopilot while her mind replayed Nathan's voice. You are a person, Colette. Hammond, Dina Lopez stood in the corridor, head of housekeeping. Formidable woman, early 50s, sharp efficiency. Yes, ma'am? My office, now. Colette's stomach dropped. Someone had seen her. She followed Dina to the small office behind the laundry facilities. Dina closed the door, arms crossed. Want to tell me why you were in suite 429 for over an hour last night? I entered the wrong suite. The passenger was kind enough not to report me. We talked briefly. Talked briefly? Room service delivered 2 dinners. That's more than brief, Hammond. He offered food. I was about to collapse and he was being... decent. Dina sighed, stern expression softening. Letty, listen. I like you. You're one of my best workers. But you know the rules. Fraternizing with passengers is grounds for immediate termination. It doesn't matter if he's decent. 1 complaint, 1 photograph, 1 rumor, and I have to let you go. Yes, ma'am. Nathan Fraser isn't just any passenger. He's an investor in the parent company. If something happens between you two, if it becomes public or messy, I can't protect you. Hell, I'd lose my job just for knowing. So I need to hear you say you understand the stakes. I understand. It won't happen again. It was a mistake. See that it stays a mistake. Dina's voice gentled. I know life isn't fair. I know you work harder than anyone. But fair doesn't matter when your family needs you. Keep your head down. Do your job. Stay away from suite 429. That's an order. Yes, ma'am. Colette returned to her rounds with a leaden feeling. She'd known last night was a mistake. Had known even as she sat across from Nathan. But some part had hoped the rules could bend just this once. The rules never bent for people like her. Colette avoided the 4th floor for the rest of her shift. She kept her head down, movements efficient, mind carefully blank. Just another day. Nothing had changed. Except everything had changed, because now she knew what it felt like to be seen. That knowledge sat in her chest like a stone, heavy and immovable. 3 days passed, 3 days of deliberately avoiding any route that might intersect with Nathan Fraser's. Different corridors, different shifts, early morning assignments nobody wanted. On the fourth day, the universe stopped cooperating. Colette was restocking supplies in the conference room when the door opened. "Do you always work this hard to avoid someone?" Nathan's voice sent electricity down her spine. She turned slowly. He leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, dark slacks, white shirt with sleeves rolled to elbows. Unfairly attractive, completely off limits. "Mr. Fraser, is there something I can help you with? You could start by explaining why you've been avoiding me." "I work for the cruise line, sir. You're a passenger. We don't move in the same circles." Professional voice, straight posture, racing heart. Nathan stepped inside. "Don't do that." "Do what?" "Hide behind formality. That night in my suite, we talked like actual people. Now you're treating me like I'm made of glass and money." "You are made of money, and I'm made of the people who clean up after you. Those are the facts, Mr. Fraser." "Nathan." He moved closer. She backed up until her hip hit the conference table. "My name is Nathan. Just like I know you're avoiding me because you're scared." "I'm not scared of you." "No. You're scared of what happens if you let yourself want something you think you can't have." The accuracy hit like a physical blow. She lifted her chin. "I can't afford to want anything, Nathan. I have responsibilities, a family depending on me, a job I desperately need. Your world and mine, they don't touch." That dinner was fantasy. "This conversation is a mistake, and I'm asking you please to let me go." She tried to move past. His hand caught her wrist, not hard, just enough to stop her. Heat raced up her arm. "What if I don't want to let you go? What if every day since that night I've looked for you and wondered why one conversation is stuck in my head like a song I can't stop playing?" "Then you're being foolish. I'm nobody, Nathan. I clean toilets and make beds and send every cent home. You're an investor who could buy this ship. This isn't a romance novel. It's real life. And in real life, people like you don't end up with people like me." "People like me?" Something flashed in his eyes. Hurt, anger. "You mean people who inherited money?" "You're right, Colette. I don't know your struggle. But I know loneliness. I know what it's like when people only see your bank account. That night in my suite was the first real conversation I've had in months. Maybe years. So forgive me for not wanting to let that go." They were standing too close. Close enough to see a scar above his left eyebrow. Close enough that his cologne made her head swim. Close enough to feel heat radiating from his body. "We can't do this," she whispered. "You know we can't." "I know." His thumb brushed her wrist, shivers through her entire body. "But that doesn't stop me from wanting to." The door swung open. Marina entered with towels, eyes widening at the scene. Colette and Nathan too close, his hand on her wrist, the air thick between them. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just bringing fresh towels." Nathan released Colette immediately, stepping back. "No interruption. I was asking Miss Hammond about conference room amenities. She's been very helpful." Marina set down the towels, gaze flickering between them. "I'm sure she has. Letty's the best we have." "I don't doubt it." Nathan's voice was cordial, but when his eyes met Colette's before he left, she saw everything he couldn't say aloud. Want, frustration, hunger. "Thank you, Miss Hammond." He left. Colette exhaled. Marina crossed her arms. "Girl, please tell me you're not doing what it looks like you're doing." "I'm not doing anything." "That man was ready to devour you, and you were ready to let him. Letty, I love you, but this is dangerous. Dina is already watching. If something happens..." "Nothing is happening. He's a passenger who feels guilty. That's all." "That's all?" Marina's laugh was sharp. "Honey, I've been working cruise ships for 10 years. I know what that's all looks like. And that wasn't it. That was a man interested in a lot more than guilt. It doesn't matter what he's interested in. I can't afford to care." Marina's expression softened. "But you do care. I can see it on your face." Colette couldn't deny it. "Then help me stop caring. Remind me what's at stake." "Because I'm terrified, Marina. I'm terrified I'm going to do something stupid and lose everything for a man who'll get bored the second this ship docks." "Oh, Letty." Marina pulled her into a hug. "I don't think he's going to get bored. That's the problem. I think he's just as caught as you are, and I think you're both about to get hurt." The words settled into Colette's chest like prophecy. That night Colette couldn't sleep. She lay in her bunk, listening to Marina's snores and the ship's engines, replaying Nathan's words. What if I don't want to let you go? What if she didn't want to let go either? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, single text. I'm sorry if I made things harder for you today. That wasn't my intention, but I can't seem to stop thinking about you, and I'm not sure what to do with that. N. She should delete it, block the number. Instead, her fingers moved. You should stop thinking about me. For both our sakes. Response within seconds. I've tried, doesn't work. Have dinner with me tomorrow night, somewhere off the ship when we dock in port. No one will know. I'll know. And it'll make this harder. What if I want it to be harder? What if I want it to be real? Colette closed her eyes, willing herself to have the strength to do the right thing. Where and when? She sent it before she could change her mind. Almost immediately regretted it. This was a mistake. Massive, career-ending, heartbreaking. But Nathan's next message made her chest crack open. Thank you. I promise I'll make it worth the risk. Colette stared at the metal ceiling. Tomorrow, they'd dock in Cozumel. Tomorrow she'd meet Nathan Fraser where nobody knew them. Tomorrow she'd cross a line she couldn't uncross. She should be terrified. She was. But she was also, for the first time in years, alive with anticipation. The ship docked at noon. Colette had 4 hours. She told Marina she was visiting the market, not entirely a lie. She walked through it on her way to the small cafe Nathan had suggested, tucked away from tourist areas. Colette wore her nicest civilian clothes, simple coral dress bought years ago, worn sandals, natural hair loose around her shoulders, exposed, nervous, absurdly hopeful. Nathan was already waiting. He stood when he saw her. His expression made her breath catch. He looked at her like she was the only person in the world, like the sun rose and set in her smile. You came, relief and wonder. I almost didn't, she sat across from him. How normal this looked. Just 2 people having coffee. No one would know the gulf between them, the impossibility of it all. I'm glad you did. He pushed a coffee cup toward her. I didn't know how you take it. Sugar and cream on the side. Black is fine. She wrapped her hands around it. Nathan, before anything, I need to say something. All right? This can't be anything. I know that hurts to hear, but I need you to understand. My job is everything. My son needs me to keep that job. My mother's medical bills depend on it, so whatever this is, whatever you think it might become, it has to stay contained. It has to be, temporary. Nathan leaned back. What if I don't want temporary? Then you want something I can't give you. Can't or won't? Does it matter? The result is the same. You go back to your suite and business meetings and investor life. I go back to cleaning toilets and trying not to think about you. That's reality. What if we change the reality? With what? Wishful thinking? She leaned forward. You're a good man, Nathan. I can see that. But you live in a world where problems get solved with money and influence. I live in a world where one mistake means my son doesn't eat. Those worlds don't merge. They collide and destroy each other. Nathan's jaw tightened. You think I don't understand stakes? That because I have money, I don't know what it's like to lose things that matter? I think you've never had to choose between dignity and survival. The words hung between them, sharp and true. Nathan looked away, hands clenching his cup. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter. You're right. I haven't had to make that choice. But I've made other choices. I've lived a life built by my father, doing work I don't care about, surrounded by people who only see what I can do for them. Then I met you. And for the first time in years, I felt like a human being instead of a bank account. So maybe I don't understand your struggle, Colette, but I understand loneliness. And I understand what it feels like when someone actually sees you. The honesty cracked something in her chest. Colette reached across the table, her hand covering his. Simple touch, monumental. I see you, she said softly. I wish I didn't, because it would make everything easier. But I do. I see a man who's restless and searching, trying to figure out who he is beyond what people expect. I see someone kind enough to feed an exhausted cleaner instead of calling security. I see you, Nathan. That's the problem. His hand turned under hers, fingers intertwining. Then let's have this moment, this afternoon. No expectations, no future, just this. Can we do that? Terrible idea. She knew it with every logical cell. But her heart, her foolish, hopeful heart, was already nodding. They spent the afternoon walking through Cozumel like ordinary people. Nathan told her about growing up in a shipping family, about pressure to inherit an empire he'd never wanted, about loneliness of never knowing if someone loved him or his last name. Colette told him about her son's engineering dreams, her mother's strength, the pride and shame of working in service. They laughed over street tacos. They wandered through a small art gallery. Nathan bought a painting without haggling, and the artist's gratitude made Colette's throat tight. "You didn't have to do that," she said. "I wanted to. Her work is beautiful. Is that wrong?" "No, it's generous." She paused. "You're generous. I don't think you even realize it. You just give without expecting anything back. Maybe I'm hoping you'll give me something back. What could I possibly give you that you don't already have?" Nathan stopped, turning to face her. Street noise faded. Vendors calling, tourists laughing, music drifting. His hand rose to her face, fingers barely brushing her cheek. "This," he said quietly. "Honesty. Conversation. The feeling that I matter beyond my portfolio. You've already given me more in a few hours than most people have given me in years." Colette's breath caught. They were standing in the middle of a Cozumel street, and she was falling for a man she couldn't have, falling hard and fast and completely. "We should get back. I can't miss boarding time." "I know," but Nathan didn't move, thumb tracing her jaw, making her skin sing. "Colette, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest." "Okay." "If there were no barriers, no job, no social differences, no consequences, would you want this? Would you want me?" The question was unfair and necessary and devastating. Colette looked into his eyes and saw her own longing reflected back. "Yes," she whispered. "God help me, yes." Nathan's expression transformed. Hope, heat, something deeper. He leaned down slowly, giving her every opportunity to pull away. Colette didn't pull away. She rose on her toes and met him halfway. The kiss was soft at first, questioning. Then his hand slid into her hair, her fingers gripped his shirt, and the kiss became something more. It became a confession, a promise, a moment of perfect connection in an imperfect world. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Colette felt fundamentally altered at a molecular level. "We have to go back," she said against his mouth. "I know." He kissed her again, brief and desperate. "But tell me I'll see you again. Tell me this isn't the end." "It should be the end." "But it's not, is it?" Colette looked at him, this man who'd upended her careful life, and knew she was already lost. "No, it's not the end." They walked back in charged silence, hands brushing but not quite holding, both aware they were stepping into something dangerous and inevitable. At the gangway, they separated, Colette using crew entrance, Nathan the passenger area. But before she disappeared, she looked back. Nathan stood at the railing, watching her. Even from a distance, she felt the weight of his gaze, the promise in it. This wasn't the end. It was barely the beginning, and Colette was terrified of how badly she wanted to see where it led. Have you ever taken a risk for someone you barely knew, but somehow felt like you'd known forever? Maybe you crossed a line you'd sworn you'd never cross, and it changed everything. Tell me your story in the comments, let me know where you're watching from, and hit subscribe if you're already invested in Colette and Nathan's impossible love story. Chapter 2. The days that followed were stolen moments and restraint. Colette and Nathan developed an unspoken language of glances across public spaces, texts sent in late hours, brief encounters in empty corridors where they could pretend, for just a minute, that the world didn't exist beyond them. But the world did exist. And it was watching. Marina cornered Colette in the supply closet 5 days after Cozumel. "You're glowing, and not in a I got good sleep way, in a someone's making me very happy way. Please tell me you're being careful." "I'm always careful." "That's not an answer, and we both know it." Marina's voice softened. "Letty, I'm not judging you, but Dina's been asking questions. She knows something's different, and if she's asking questions, it's only a matter of time before she gets answers." The warning settled like ice in Colette's stomach. She'd been so caught up in Nathan, in the way he made her feel alive and seen and worthy, that she'd let her guard down. That was dangerous. That was how people like her lost everything. "I'll be more careful," Colette promised. "Be more than careful. Be smart, because whatever this is, it's written all over your face, and faces don't lie on ships this small." That night, Colette stared at Nathan's latest text. "I need to see you. Really see you. Not stolen minutes in corridors. Please." She knew what he was asking, knew the risk, but her fingers were typing before her brain could intervene. "You're sweet. Midnight." "But this is dangerous, Nathan. Everything worth having is dangerous." When midnight came, Colette stood outside Suite 429 for a full minute before knocking. This was different from the first time. Then, she'd stumbled in by accident. Now, she was walking in with full knowledge of what she was doing, what it might cost. Nathan opened the door immediately. His eyes swept over her. She'd worn her own clothes, simple blue blouse and jeans, and something heated in his gaze that made her skin feel too tight. "Come in." His voice was rough. Colette stepped inside. He closed the door with a quiet click that sounded like fate locking. The suite was dimly lit, soft jazz playing. He'd pushed the furniture to create more space. Moonlight through floor-to-ceiling windows painted everything silver and shadow. "You redecorated," she said, needing to break the tension. "I thought about what you said, about not having space to breathe." Nathan moved closer but didn't touch her yet. "I wanted you to have space tonight, room to decide what you want without feeling trapped." The consideration nearly undid her. Colette turned to face him. The want in his eyes was so naked, so honest, it stole her breath. "What I want is impossible." "Then want the impossible with me. Just for tonight." He took one step closer, then another, giving her time to retreat. "I'm not asking for forever, Colette. I'm asking for now. For this moment where we get to be just Nathan and Colette, not investor and staff, not rich and poor. Just two people who can't seem to stay away from each other. And tomorrow, when reality comes back, tomorrow I'll figure out how to make reality less brutal. But tonight, let me have this. Let me have you." Colette looked at him. This man who'd seen her when she was invisible, who'd fed her when she was exhausted, who'd shown her what it felt like to be treasured, and felt her last wall crumble. "I want this," she whispered. "I want you, even though I shouldn't, even though it's terrifying." Nathan closed the distance, hands framing her face with devastating gentleness. "I'm terrified too, but I'm more terrified of not knowing what this could be." He kissed her. Nothing like the kiss in Cozumel. That had been discovery. This was claiming. His mouth moved over hers with hunger tempered by reverence, like he was memorizing the taste of her, the feel of her. Colette's hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer, drowning in sensation. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Nathan rested his forehead against hers. "Tell me to stop if this is too much. Tell me, and I will." "Don't stop. Please don't stop." His hands slid down her arms, raising shivers. "You're shaking. I know. I'm scared and wanting and feeling too much all at once, but I don't want you to stop." Nathan's expression transformed with understanding and heat. He took her hand, leading her to the windows where moonlight spilled across the floor. The ocean stretched endless beyond the glass. They stood together in silence, her back against his chest, his arms wrapped around her waist. "You're beautiful," he murmured against her hair. "Do you know that? You're so beautiful it makes my chest hurt." Colette turned in his arms, hands sliding to his shoulders. "I'm ordinary. I'm tired and scared and definitely not beautiful. You're extraordinary." His fingers traced her cheek, down her throat. "You're strong and brilliant and kind. You notice things, you care about people, you love your son so fiercely you'd sacrifice anything for him. How could you think that's ordinary?" The words cracked something open in her chest. Tears pricked her eyes. When was the last time someone had seen her this clearly? When had anyone told her she mattered beyond what she could do for them? "Nathan." He kissed away whatever she'd been about to say. This kiss was slower, deeper, a conversation without words. His hands moved to the buttons of her blouse, pausing. "May I?" The question, the consent embedded in it, made her fall a little more. Colette nodded. Nathan's fingers worked the buttons with steady patience. When her blouse fell open, revealing simple cotton bra beneath, she fought the urge to cover herself. She wasn't like the women he probably knew, polished and perfect and draped in expensive lingerie. "You're perfect," Nathan said, reading her thoughts. His hands spanned her waist, thumbs brushing skin just below her bra. "Don't hide from me, Colette. Please don't hide." She forced herself to stand still, to let him look. His eyes moved over her with such appreciation, such genuine desire, that her self-consciousness began to fade. When he pulled his own shirt over his head, revealing lean, muscled chest, she let herself look too, let herself want. They undressed each other slowly, learning the landscape of skin and scars and stories written on bodies. Nathan's hands were reverent, his touch careful, like she was something precious he was afraid of breaking. Colette explored the planes of his chest, the strength in his arms, the way he shivered when her fingers traced his ribs. When they were both bare, standing in moonlight with nothing between them but air and anticipation, Nathan cupped her face. "You're sure? Because once we do this, I won't be able to pretend you don't matter. I won't be able to let you go." "I don't want you to let me go, not tonight, not yet." He kissed her deeply, walking her backward until her legs hit the bed. They fell together onto soft linens. Colette felt the world narrow to this, his weight above her, his mouth tracing patterns on her skin, his hands learning what made her gasp and arch and whisper his name like a prayer. Nathan moved down her body, lips following the path his hands had mapped. When he settled between her thighs, breath warm against her most sensitive skin, Colette's hands tangled in his hair. "I want to know every part of you," he murmured, voice dark with promise. "I want to know what makes you come undone." Then his mouth was on her. Colette forgot how to breathe. He took his time, learning her rhythm, responding to every sound she made. The pleasure built in waves, cresting higher until she shattered, body bowing off the bed as Nathan's name tore from her throat. He kissed his way back up, settling between her legs, weight braced on forearms. His eyes searched hers, checking in even as they both trembled with need. "I need you," she whispered, hands sliding down his back. "Please, Nathan." He reached for protection from the nightstand. She loved him a little for thinking of it even in the heat of the moment. When he positioned himself at her entrance, he paused once more. "Look at me. I want to see you." Their eyes locked as he entered her slowly, giving her time to adjust, to accept him. The sensation was overwhelming, fullness and connection, and something deeper than physical. Colette felt tears slip down her temples as Nathan began to move, each thrust deliberate and measured, like he was savoring every second. "You feel like home," he breathed against her mouth. "How is that possible?" She couldn't answer with words, could only hold him tighter, meet his rhythm, let herself fall into this impossible moment where nothing existed except them and the way their bodies fit together. The pleasure built again, slower, but no less intense. Nathan's hand slid between their bodies, thumb finding the bundle of nerves that made her cry out. He watched her face as she climbed toward release, his own features tight with holding back. "Come for me," he urged, voice ragged. "Let me feel you." The permission shattered her. Colette came apart with Nathan deep inside her, his name a broken sound on her lips. The feeling of her clenching around him pushed Nathan over the edge. He buried his face in her neck, body going rigid as he found his own release. They lay tangled together afterward, hearts racing, skin damp. Nathan rolled to his side, pulling her so they faced each other in moonlight. His hand traced lazy patterns on her hip, eyes soft with something that looked dangerously like love. "I don't know how to go back to pretending after this," he admitted quietly. "We have to." Colette's voice caught. "You know we have to. What if I don't want to?" His fingers stilled on her skin. "What if I want to figure out a way to make this real? To make us possible? There is no us, Nathan. There's tonight. There's this moment. But tomorrow you're still an investor, and I'm still cleaning your bathroom. That doesn't change because we slept together." "It changes everything. Because we slept together." He leaned forward, kissing her forehead, her cheeks, the corner of her mouth. "It changes everything because I'm falling for you, Colette. And I think you're falling for me too, even if you're too scared to admit it. She was. God, she was falling so hard it felt like drowning, but she couldn't say it aloud, couldn't give voice to the feeling growing in her chest because saying it made it real, made it something that could destroy her when it ended. Stay tonight, Nathan whispered, pulling her closer. Stay until morning. Let me hold you. That's all I'm asking. It was too much and not enough, but Colette was tired of fighting, so she nodded against his chest, feeling his arms tighten around her. Until morning, she agreed. They made love again in the deep hours, slower and sweeter. Nathan explored her body like a map he was committing to memory. Colette learned the taste of his skin, the sounds he made when she touched him just right. When exhaustion finally claimed them, they fell asleep wrapped around each other. And for a few perfect hours, the world and its complications ceased to exist. Colette woke to pale dawn light and Nathan's arm across her waist. For one blissful moment, she let herself exist in the fantasy, waking beside a man who made her feel cherished, in a suite where money wasn't constant anxiety, in a life where she could want things without calculating the cost. Then reality crashed back. The clock read 5:45. Her shift started at 6. She had 15 minutes. She tried to slip out of bed. Nathan's arm tightened. Don't go yet. Voice rough with sleep. I have to, my shift. I know. He released her, sitting up, running a hand through disheveled hair, even rumpled and half asleep, unfairly attractive. Will I see you today? Colette pulled on clothes quickly, not meeting his eyes. Nathan, last night was... Don't. He stood, crossing to her, catching her hands. Don't say it was a mistake. Don't say it can't happen again. Just don't. What am I supposed to say? That I'll sneak into your room every night? That we'll keep doing this until someone catches us and I lose everything? This can't be sustainable. So we'll make it sustainable. I'll figure something out. You can't fix this with money or influence, Nathan. Some problems don't have solutions. His jaw tightened. I refuse to accept that. There has to be a way. There isn't. She pulled her hands free, needing distance before she broke down completely. Last night was beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing I've experienced in years, but it was also goodbye. It has to be. Colette, she kissed him quickly, cutting off his protest. Thank you. For seeing me. For making me feel like I mattered. I'll remember it always. Then she left before he could respond, before her resolve crumbled, before she admitted that walking away from him felt like leaving half her heart behind. The corridor was empty. Colette made it to the crew stairs without encountering anyone. But when she reached crew deck, Marina was waiting outside their cabin, arms crossed, expression grim. You didn't come back last night. Don't lie to me, Letty, not to me. Marina's voice was quiet but firm. You were with him, weren't you? The investor. Colette's shoulders sagged. Yes. Dios mío? Marina pulled her into the cabin, closing the door firmly. Are you out of your mind? Do you know what Dina will do if she finds out? She won't find out. It's over. I ended it this morning. Did you? Marina's gaze was penetrating. Because you look like a woman whose heart just got broken, and a broken heart is hard to hide on a ship this small. Colette sank onto her bunk, exhaustion catching up. I don't know what to do, Marina. I know it's wrong. I know the risks. But when I'm with him, I feel like myself for the first time in years. Not a mother, not a daughter, not a worker. Just me. Colette. A woman who gets to want something for herself. Marina sat beside her, expression softening. I get it. I do. But wanting something doesn't make it safe. And this man, no matter how good he makes you feel, he's not safe. He's a passenger. He's wealthy. His world and yours. They're not compatible, mi amor. I know. The tears Colette had been holding back finally spilled over. I know, and I ended it, and it hurts so much I can barely breathe. But I did the right thing. I protected my job, my family. That's what matters. Marina pulled her into a hug. Colette let herself break for just a minute. Let herself mourn the loss of something that had barely begun but felt monumental in its ending. Get yourself together, Marina said gently. Wash your face, put on your uniform, and go to work. Fake it until you make it. That's all any of us can do. Colette nodded, pulling herself together through sheer force of will. She had a son depending on her, a mother who needed her, a job she couldn't afford to lose. Nathan Fraser was a beautiful dream, but dreams didn't pay bills. She went to work. The next 3 days were torture. Colette saw Nathan everywhere, corridors, dining room, on deck looking at the ocean like he was searching for answers. Every time their eyes met, she felt the connection between them like a physical pull. Every time she forced herself to look away, Nathan sent texts she didn't answer, left messages with crew members. Once, he waited outside the crew dining area during her dinner break. She'd walked past him without stopping, even as everything in her screamed to turn around. Marina watched her friend deteriorate. "You're not eating, you're not sleeping. Letty, this isn't sustainable either." "I'll be fine." "You're not fine, you're miserable. And so is he, from what I've heard." Colette looked up sharply. "You've heard about him?" "The passenger staff talk. Apparently he's been distracted, short-tempered, asking about ship protocols regarding crew relationships." Marina raised an eyebrow. "Sound like someone who's moved on to you?" It didn't. It sounded like someone as wrecked as she was, but that didn't change the fundamental facts. Colette forced herself to focus on the laundry. It doesn't matter, it can't matter. "What if he finds a way to make it matter?" Marina's voice was cautious. "What if he's serious about this, about you? Then he'll realize it's impossible and move on, like I'm trying to do." But on the 4th day, Colette's resolve was tested in a way she hadn't anticipated. She was restocking minibar supplies when her phone rang. Her mother's number. Colette's heart lurched. Rosa never called during work hours unless it was an emergency. "Mama? What's wrong?" "Mia, I'm sorry to bother you at work, but I'm at the hospital. My chest started hurting this morning, and Marcus insisted I come in. They're running tests." Fear turned Colette's blood to ice. "What kind of tests? Are you okay?" "I don't know yet, but baby, the tests, they're expensive. And we don't have insurance that covers all of it. I know you send what you can, but..." "How much?" Colette's hands shook. "How much do you need?" Rosa hesitated. "At least $3,000 for what they're doing today, maybe more depending on what they find." $3,000 might as well be $3 million. Colette had $400 in her bank account. Even working double shifts, she couldn't come up with that kind of money in time. "I'll figure it out," she promised, voice steadier than she felt. "Don't worry about the money, Mama. Just focus on getting better. Put Marcus on." Her son's voice came on, trying to sound brave and failing. "Mom, she's really sick. She's trying to hide it, but I can tell she's in pain." "I know, baby, but they're going to help her, okay? I promise. I'll take care of the money. You just take care of Grandma for me." "I will. I love you, Mom." "I love you too." Colette hung up and stood in the middle of the suite, mind racing through impossible calculations. She could ask for an advance, not enough. Could try to get a loan. Her credit was already stretched thin. Her phone buzzed. Nathan. Please talk to me. I need to know you're okay." She stared at the message, finger hovering over the keyboard. Nathan could solve this problem with a phone call. $3,000 was nothing to him, less than nothing. But asking him for money would change everything between them, would make her exactly what people would assume she was, a woman sleeping with a rich man for financial gain. Her pride rebelled against the idea. But her mother was in the hospital, and pride didn't pay medical bills. Colette typed before she could second-guess herself. "I need to see you. Can you meet me somewhere private?" His response was immediate. "My sweet, now. Please." She shouldn't go, shouldn't be alone with him when her defenses were this shattered, but desperation made people do unwise things. Colette made her way to Suite 429. Nathan opened the door before she finished knocking, relief at seeing her so palpable she felt it like a touch, but his expression shifted to concern when he saw her face. "What's wrong?" Colette stepped inside, wrapping her arms around herself. "I need to ask you something, and I need you to understand how hard this is for me." "Okay?" He closed the door, giving her space. "Whatever you need." "My mother's in the hospital. She needs tests that cost money I don't have, and Her voice cracked. "I need to ask if you'd be willing to loan me $3,000. I'll pay you back, every cent. It might take years, but I'll pay you back." Nathan's expression went through several shifts: surprise, concern, determination. "Of course, I'll transfer it right now. Give me your account information." "Nathan, I'm serious about paying you back." "I don't care about being paid back." He pulled out his phone. Your mother needs medical care. That's what matters. It matters to me. Colette's voice rose. I'm not asking for charity. I'm asking for a loan. If you give me this money, I need it to be a transaction, not a gift, not pity. A loan that I pay back with interest like any other. He looked at her for a long moment, understanding dawning. This is about pride. This is about me maintaining some shred of dignity in this situation. Nathan set down his phone, crossed to her, hands gentle on her shoulders. Colette, there's no shame in accepting help, especially from someone who cares about you. There is when that someone is a wealthy passenger and I'm the staff member who slept with him. Do you understand what this looks like? What people will think. I don't care what people think. That's because you've never had to care. The words came out sharper than intended, born of fear and frustration. You've never had people judge your entire worth based on who you associate with. But I have. My entire life. And I won't, be seen as someone who trades her body for money. Nathan's hands tightened, voice fierce. That's not what this is. What happened between us had nothing to do with money, and helping your mother has nothing to do with what's between us. These are separate things. Are they? Can they really be separate when the power dynamic is so skewed? Colette pulled away, needing clarity. I'm asking you for money, Nathan, after sleeping with you. How is that not exactly what everyone would assume about a cleaner and a wealthy investor? Because context matters. Intent matters. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. I'm not offering you money as payment. I'm offering it because someone I care about is in pain, and I have the resources to help. That's it. Colette looked at him, this man who'd somehow become essential to her, and felt herself wavering. He wasn't wrong. Her mother needed help. Nathan could provide it. Why was she making this harder than it needed to be? Because accepting money from him would tie them together in a way that couldn't be undone, would create a debt that went beyond financial, would mean admitting that she needed him, and that admission felt like giving up the last piece of her independence. Loan, she said finally, with a payment plan. We draw up an agreement. This has to be official. Relief flooded Nathan's features. Whatever you need, we'll do it however makes you comfortable. Within minutes, he drafted a simple loan agreement, embarrassingly reasonable terms, no interest, 5 years to repay, flexible payment schedule. When Colette tried to argue for higher interest, Nathan refused. I'm not profiting off your mother's illness. These terms are no deal. She signed on his phone, gave him her account information. He made the transfer immediately. Her phone dinged. $3,000, exactly what she'd asked for. Colette stared at the notification, feeling relief and shame and gratitude all tangled together. Thank you, she whispered. You don't have to thank me. I do. You don't know what this means. For my mother. For my son. She looked up at him, tears burning her eyes. Thank you, Nathan. He pulled her into his arms. Colette let herself lean into him for just a moment, let herself take comfort in his strength, his warmth, the steady beat of his heart against her cheek. I meant what I said before, Nathan murmured into her hair. I'm falling for you, Colette. This isn't about money or convenience or any of the things you're afraid people will think. This is about you and me and something real. Real doesn't make it possible. Then let's figure out how to make it possible. He pulled back to look at her. I don't know how yet, but I'm not giving up on this, on us. Colette wanted to believe him, wanted to believe that love could overcome class differences and social barriers and all the practical realities that made their relationship impossible. But she'd learned long ago that wanting something didn't make it true. I should go, she said softly, before someone notices I'm gone. Stay. His arms tightened. Just for a few minutes. Let me hold you. She should refuse, should maintain the distance she'd tried so hard to establish. But Colette was tired of fighting, so she stayed. Let Nathan hold her. Let herself, for just a few stolen minutes, believe that maybe somehow they could find a way. When she finally left his suite, Colette felt simultaneously lighter and heavier. Her mother would get the care she needed, but she'd also just accepted money from the man she was falling in love with, creating a connection between them that couldn't be easily severed. Marina was waiting when Colette returned. One look at her friend's face told her that Marina knew something had shifted. "You saw him? My mother's in the hospital. He helped." Colette's voice was flat. It was a business transaction. "Business?" Marina's tone was skeptical. "Is that what we're calling it?" "That's what it has to be." But as Colette lay in her narrow bunk that night, staring at the metal ceiling, she knew the truth. What she had with Nathan wasn't business. It was messy and complicated and probably doomed. It was also the most real thing she'd felt in years, and that terrified her more than anything. Chapter 3. The next morning brought news that Rose's tests had revealed a treatable condition. Nothing life-threatening, but requiring medication and monitoring. The $3,000 would cover immediate costs. Colette's relief was so profound she nearly wept while restocking towels. But relief came with a price. Every time she saw Nathan now, she thought about the money, about the debt, about the way their relationship had shifted from impossible romance to something more complicated, something with strings attached, whether either of them wanted to acknowledge it or not. Nathan seemed to sense her withdrawal. His texts became more frequent, more urgent. "Talk to me. Please. I can feel you pulling away. Don't do this. The money doesn't change anything between us. You have to believe that." But it did change things. How could it not? Colette found herself avoiding him more carefully than before, taking shifts that kept her far from his suite, his usual routes, anywhere they might accidentally cross paths. Marina watched with increasing frustration. "You're torturing yourself, and probably torturing him too." "I'm protecting us both." "From what? Happiness?" Marina's voice was gentle but firm. "Letty, I've been where you are. Afraid to want something because wanting it feels dangerous. But you know what's more dangerous? Spending your whole life wondering what might have been. I can't afford to wonder. I can afford to survive. That's it. That's not living, and you know it." Before Colette could respond, Dina appeared in the doorway, expression severe. "Hammond, my office, now." The dread that had been simmering in Colette's stomach exploded into full panic. This was it. Someone had reported them. She was about to lose everything. Colette followed Dina through crew corridors, mind racing through explanations, excuses, pleas. When they reached the small office, Dina closed the door, leaned against her desk, arms crossed. "I'm going to ask you a question, and I need the truth. The whole truth. Can you give me that?" "Yes, ma'am." "Are you involved with Nathan Fraser?" The direct question left no room for deflection. "It's complicated. It's a yes or no question, Hammond." "Yes." Barely audible. "But it's not what you think. We're not. It's not." "Stop." Dina held up a hand. "I don't need details. I need to know if you understand the position this puts me in, puts the entire housekeeping department in." Colette's hands clenched. "I understand. And I'm prepared to accept the consequences. But please don't punish anyone else for my mistake. Marina didn't know. Nobody knew. This is on me." Dina's expression softened fractionally. "You think I'm going to fire you, aren't you?" "I should." Dina moved to sit behind her desk, suddenly looking older and tired. "Policy is clear. No fraternization between crew and passengers. It's there to protect staff from being taken advantage of, to maintain professional standards. If I ignore it for you, what message does that send?" "I know. I'm sorry. I'll resign if that makes it easier." "I didn't say I was accepting your resignation." Dina rubbed her temples. "Here's the situation. Someone did report seeing you enter Fraser's suite late at night, multiple times. I've been fielding questions from management for the past 2 days. They want me to launch an investigation, to make an example." Colette's legs felt weak. "What did you tell them?" "That I'd handle it internally. That you're one of my best workers, and I trust you to make the right decision going forward." Dina's gaze was penetrating. "I bought you time, Letty, but I can't buy you much. You need to end this, completely, or you need to leave the ship at the next port. Those are your options." The ultimatum hung in the air like a guillotine blade. End it or leave. Simple, brutal, necessary. "I understand," Colette said quietly. "Thank you for the warning. For giving me a choice. It's not much of a choice, and we both know it. Dina's voice held sympathy. For what it's worth, I get it. I was young once, too. I know what it's like when someone sees you as more than your job title. But that doesn't change reality. And reality is that you can't afford to lose this position. Your family can't afford it. I know. So you'll end it? Colette nodded, even as her heart cracked down the middle. I'll end it. Good. Do it today. And Hammond, be smart about how you do it. Make it clean, final. No room for him to think there's a chance. Men like Fraser don't give up easily, and you can't afford for him to keep pursuing you. When Colette left Dina's office, she felt numb. She'd known this was coming, had known from the first moment in Nathan's suite that this couldn't last. But knowing something intellectually and feeling it emotionally were vastly different experiences. Marina was waiting in the corridor, face anxious. What happened? I have to end it, today, completely. Oh, Letty. Marina pulled her into a quick hug. I'm sorry. I know this hurts. It doesn't matter if it hurts, it's the only option. Colette pulled away, straightening her uniform. I need to find him, get this over with. You want me to come with you? No, I need to do this alone. Colette found Nathan on the observation deck, standing at the railing, staring at the horizon. He turned when he heard her approach, relief flooding his features. Colette, thank God, I've been trying to reach you. We need to talk. Her voice came out flat. She saw his expression shift from relief to wariness. Okay, do you want to go somewhere private? No, here is fine. She needed witnesses, needed the public setting to keep her, resolve from crumbling. I can't do this anymore. Whatever this is between us, it has to stop. Nathan moved closer, voice dropping. What happened? Did someone say something? Dina called me into her office. Someone reported us. She's giving me a chance to end this quietly, but if I don't, I'm done. Not just fired, blacklisted, unable to work on any cruise ship. That's my entire career, Nathan, my entire livelihood. His jaw tightened. I'll talk to her. I'll explain. Explain what? That you're sleeping with the help? That'll go over really well. The bitterness in her voice surprised even her. This is reality. The reality I tried to tell you about. Our worlds don't mix. They destroy each other. So that's it? You're just going to walk away? I have to walk away. I have a son who needs me, a mother recovering from a health crisis. They depend on me, Nathan. I can't risk everything for something that was never going to work anyway. Never going to work? His voice rose slightly. We could make it work if you just, what? Quit my job? Become dependent on you? Let you take care of me? Colette shook her head. I won't be that woman. I won't trade my independence for security. I've worked too hard to build this life, and I won't watch it crumble because I fell for someone I can't have. Nathan's expression was raw with hurt and frustration. You think that's what I want? To make you dependent? I want to be with you, Colette, as equals, as partners. We can't be equals when you have millions and I have hundreds, when you own pieces of the ship I clean. When one word from you could get me fired or promoted or anything in between. That's not partnership, that's a power imbalance that will eventually poison everything good between us. So you're protecting us by ending us? His voice was harsh with emotion. That's your solution? It's the only solution. Colette forced herself to meet his eyes, to let him see her resolve even as her heart was shattering. I care about you, more than I should, but caring isn't enough. It's never been enough, and I need you to respect this decision. I need you to let me go. What if I can't? Nathan's hand reached for hers, but she stepped back. The hurt that flashed across his face nearly broke her. What if I don't want to let you go? Then you're being selfish, because holding on to this, holding on to me, will cost me everything. Is that what you want? To watch me lose my job, my ability to support my family, my independence? All so you can have something you'll probably get bored with in a few months anyway? You think I'll get bored? His voice was dangerous now. You think this is some kind of game to me? Some rich man's entertainment? I don't know what it is to you, but I know what it costs me, and I can't pay that price. Colette's voice cracked despite her best efforts. I'm asking you to let me go. Please, Nathan, if you care about me at all, let me go. The words hung between them, final and devastating. Nathan stood silent for a long moment, his expression cycling through hurt, anger, resignation. When he finally spoke, his voice was carefully controlled. "If that's what you want, it's what I need." "Fine." He stepped back, creating distance that felt like a chasm. "I'll respect your decision, but for the record, Colette, you're wrong about getting bored, about not being equals, about all of it. You're wrong, and you're going to realize it when it's too late." "Maybe, but at least I'll still have a job." The cruelty of the words was intentional, designed to push him away completely. "Goodbye, Nathan." She walked away before he could respond, before her tears could fall, before she could take back every word and beg him to hold her. She made it to the crew stairwell before the sobs hit, great gasping things that shook her entire body. Marina found her there 10 minutes later, sitting on the metal steps with her face in her hands. "It's done," Colette managed between sobs. "I ended it." Marina sat beside her, pulling her close. "I know, mi amor, I know. Why does doing the right thing hurt so much? Because the right thing and the happy thing aren't always the same." Marina stroked her hair. "But you were brave. You protected your family. That matters." Did it matter? Colette wasn't sure anymore. All she knew was that she'd just walked away from something that felt more right than anything in her life, and the pain of it was worse than she'd imagined possible. The next 3 days passed in a fog. Colette went through her shifts mechanically, avoiding the 4th floor entirely, keeping her head down and her heart locked away. Nathan didn't try to contact her, didn't send texts or leave messages. He respected her decision, just as she'd asked. She should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt hollow. "You look terrible," Marina observed on the 3rd night. They were folding laundry in the crew area. "Have you eaten today?" "I had something at breakfast." "Letty, that was 18 hours ago." Marina set down the towel she was folding. "You can't keep doing this to yourself. You made a choice. Now you have to live with it." "I know, but knowing and accepting were different things." Marina's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, expression shifting to concern. "Letty, there's something you should know. The ship's gossip network is lighting up. Apparently Nathan Fraser got into an argument with another passenger, someone named Gabriel. It got heated." Colette's hand stilled on the laundry. "What kind of argument?" "Nobody knows exactly. But Gabriel's been making comments. About you, about Nathan's questionable judgment and staff fraternization." Marina's voice was gentle. "It's getting messy, honey. People are talking." The dread in Colette's stomach intensified. This was exactly what she'd feared. The situation spiraling beyond their control, pulling other people in, becoming a spectacle. "I need to talk to Dina, see bad the damage is." But before she could move, her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered warily. "Miss Hammond, this is Owen Fraser, Nathan's business partner. We need to talk." Colette's blood went cold. "I don't think that's appropriate, Mr. Fraser." "Appropriate or not, it's necessary. Nathan's about to make a decision that could destroy his career and reputation, and it's because of you. So I'm asking, no, I'm begging, that you meet with me. 10 minutes. That's all I need." She should refuse, should hang up and block the number, but the urgency in Owen's voice made her hesitate. 10 minutes, the crew dining area in an hour. "Thank you." An hour later, Colette sat across from Owen Fraser. Attractive man, late 30s, sharp features, shrewd eyes. He wasted no time. "My brother's planning to walk away from a multi-million-dollar business deal. Because of you." Colette's stomach dropped. "What?" "Gabriel, our investor partner, has been spreading rumors about Nathan's relationship with a crew member. He's using it as leverage, claiming Nathan's judgment is compromised. Nathan could smooth this over, deny everything, move forward with the deal. Instead, he's planning to pull out completely, to sacrifice his business interests rather than deny his feelings for you." "That's insane," Colette's voice shook. "I ended things with him. I told him it was over. Why would he do that?" "Because he loves you." Owen's bluntness was almost cruel. "And because my brother, for all his intelligence, is fundamentally romantic about love. He thinks sacrifice proves devotion. He thinks walking away from the deal shows you that you matter more than money. But I don't want him to sacrifice anything for me. I ended things to protect both of us." "I know. He told me." Owen leaned forward, gaze intense. Here's what you need to understand. If Nathan walks away from this deal, he doesn't just lose money. He loses credibility. His reputation in the industry takes a hit. Gabriel will make sure of that, and all of it will be tied to you, your name, your face, the cleaner who supposedly seduced an investor and derailed a major business deal. The implications hit Colette like a physical blow. People will think I did this on purpose, that I targeted him. Yes, they will. And it won't just affect you on this ship. The cruise industry is smaller than you think. Word spreads. You'll be toxic. So what do you want me to do? Colette's voice was hollow. Convince him to close the deal. Make him understand that walking away doesn't prove his love. It just ruins both of you. He won't listen to me. I already told him to move on. Then tell him again, more forcefully. Owen's expression softened fractionally. Look, I don't know what happened between you two, and honestly, I don't care. What I care about is my brother's future. He's worked too hard to throw it away over a relationship that, forgive me for being blunt, has no realistic future. The words stung, because they were true. You're right, it doesn't. So help me save him from himself. Please. Colette wanted to refuse, but if Nathan really was about to destroy his career because of her, she had to try to stop him. I'll talk to him, but I can't promise he'll listen. That's all I'm asking. Owen stood. If you need anything, and I mean anything, call me. Whatever happens, you didn't deserve to be caught in this mess. After Owen left, Colette sat alone, staring at his business card. The situation had escalated beyond anything she'd imagined. It wasn't just about her and Nathan anymore. It was about business deals and reputations and futures hanging in the balance. She needed to fix this. Needed to make Nathan see reason before he did something catastrophically stupid. Marina found her an hour later. What did Owen say? That Nathan's planning to walk away from a major deal, because of me, because Gabriel's using our relationship as leverage. Dios! Marina sank into a chair. What are you going to do? Talk to Nathan. Try to make him see that sacrificing his career doesn't prove anything except that we're both idiots. You think he'll listen? I have to try. Because if he does this, we both lose everything. And I can't let that happen. She found Nathan in his suite. He opened the door, looking haggard, like he hadn't slept in days. When he saw her, something desperate and hopeful flashed across his face. Colette, your brother came to see me. She walked past him into the suite. He told me what you're planning to do. And I'm here to tell you that you're being an idiot. Nathan closed the door slowly. Owen had no right to involve you. He had every right when you're planning to destroy your career for a relationship that's already over. Colette turned to face him. What are you thinking, Nathan? Walking away from the deal doesn't prove anything. It just ruins both of us. It proves that I won't let Gabriel use you as a weapon, that I won't pretend you don't matter to protect my business interests. His voice was fierce. I'm not ashamed of what we had, and I won't act like I'm just to make things easier for investors who don't give a damn about anything except profit margins. This isn't about shame or pride. This is about practicality. If you walk away, Gabriel wins. He gets to paint you as someone with compromised judgment, and he gets to paint me as the cleaner who seduced you. Is that what you want? For my name to be dragged through the mud? Nathan flinched. That's not what I want. I'm trying to protect you. By making me the villain in this story? By ensuring that every conversation about your failed deal includes speculation about me? Colette's voice rose. That's not protection. That's destruction. What am I supposed to do? Close the deal and pretend you mean nothing? Smile and shake Gabriel's hand while he makes snide comments about staff fraternization? Nathan's frustration matched hers. I can't do that, Colette. I won't. Then you're a fool. The words came out harsh, but she needed him to hear them. You're letting your emotions dictate business decisions. You're proving Gabriel right about your judgment being compromised. My judgment isn't compromised. It's finally clear. Nathan moved closer. She felt the familiar pull toward him. I spent years making decisions based on what was expected, what was practical, what made financial sense, and I was miserable, empty. Then I met you, and for the first time, I felt alive. So forgive me if I'm not willing to sacrifice that for a business deal. You're not sacrificing us. We're already gone. I ended it, remember? Did you? His voice dropped lower, more intimate. Because I'm standing here looking at you, and I don't see someone who's moved on. I see someone who's scared, just like me. Colette wanted to deny it, wanted to hold firm, but standing this close to Nathan, seeing the pain and determination in his eyes, her resolve wavered. Of course I'm scared, terrified, but that doesn't change reality. Reality is that I love you. The words landed between them like a bomb. I'm in love with you, Colette. Completely, irrevocably. And I can't pretend I'm not just to make things easier for everyone else. Don't. She stepped back, needing physical distance. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. I love you. I love your strength, your intelligence, the way you notice things everyone else misses. I love how you put your family first even when it costs you. I love that you called me out when I was being presumptuous, that you won't let me fix things with money, that you demand to be seen as an equal even when the world tells you you're not. His voice was raw with emotion. I love you. And walking away from Gabriel's deal isn't about proving anything. It's about refusing to play a game where you're treated as a scandal instead of the woman I love. Tears streamed down Colette's face. You can't love me. It's too complicated. Love is always complicated. That doesn't make it wrong. It makes it impossible. Then let's do the impossible together. Nathan closed the distance, hands framing her face. Stay with me, not in secret, not hidden away. Really stay. We'll figure out the logistics. I'll help you find other work if you can't stay on the ship. I'll support you while you transition, whatever it takes. I don't want your money. But even as she said it, she was leaning into his touch. I'm not offering money. I'm offering partnership, love, a future. Take it, Colette. Please take it. She wanted to. God, she wanted to so badly it physically hurt, but the practical part of her brain was screaming warnings. What about Gabriel, the deal? I'll handle Gabriel, but I need to know you're with me, that we're in this together. Together means I lose my job. It means depending on you while I find other work. It means my family depending on you by extension. How is that partnership? Nathan's thumbs brushed away her tears. Partnership means we both take risks. I risk my business reputation. You risk your independence. We both risk getting hurt, but we do it together because the alternative, living without each other, is worse. Is it worse? Or are we just caught up in the romance of it all? Does this feel like romance to you? His voice was strained. Because it feels like the hardest thing I've ever done. Fighting for something that everyone says is impossible. Risking everything for a chance at something real. That's not romance. That's faith. Faith. The word settled into Colette's chest. When was the last time she'd had faith in anything except her own ability to survive? I'm so tired, she admitted. Tired of fighting. Tired of pretending I don't want this. Tired of doing the responsible thing when all I want is to say yes. Then say yes. Nathan's forehead touched hers. Say yes and we'll figure out the rest together. What if we can't figure it out? What if this all falls apart? Then at least we'll have tried. At least we'll know we were brave enough to reach for something instead of settling for safe. Safe had never given Colette anything except survival. Maybe it was time to stop settling for survival and reach for something more. Okay, she whispered. Yes, I'm saying yes. Nathan's kiss was desperate relief and fierce promise. He held her like she was precious, like she was the answer to a question he'd been asking his whole life. And Colette let herself believe, for the first time, that maybe they could do this. Maybe love really could be enough. When they finally broke apart, Nathan kept her close, arms wrapped around her waist. I need to call Owen. Tell him I'm still pulling out of Gabriel's deal. Nathan, this isn't negotiable. His voice was firm. I won't do business with someone who treats you like ammunition. Gabriel can find another partner. I'll find other opportunities. But I won't compromise on this. Your brother will be furious. Owen will understand. Eventually. Nathan kissed her forehead. Besides, I've been thinking about making a change anyway. Shifting my investments toward marine conservation, environmental protection, work that actually matters. That sounds expensive. It sounds meaningful. He smiled slightly. You inspired that. The way you talked about your son wanting to study engineering, wanting to build things that help people. It made me realize I've been building nothing but wealth. It's time I built something that matters. The sincerity in his voice made Colette's chest ache. You're really serious about this? About the work? Yes. About you? Absolutely. He pulled back to look at her. But there's something we need to discuss. Your job. I already know I'll have to leave the ship. Not necessarily. Nathan's expression was thoughtful. There might be another option. What if you didn't work for the cruise line? What if you worked for me? Colette stiffened. Nathan, I told you. Not as a kept woman, as an actual employee. I'm starting a foundation focused on marine conservation. I'll need staff. People who understand operations, logistics, attention to detail. Your skills would be valuable. I clean bathrooms. That doesn't translate to foundation work. You manage complex schedules, maintain standards under pressure, coordinate with multiple departments, solve problems with limited resources. Those skills absolutely translate. His voice was earnest. I'm not offering you a made-up position. I'm offering you real work with real responsibilities. And yes, the pay would be better than what you make now, because the work deserves it. It was tempting, devastatingly tempting. I need to think about it. Take all the time you need. Nathan's arms tightened around her. But know that the offer is genuine. This isn't about keeping you close or making you dependent. This is about recognizing your capabilities and putting them to use in work that matters. They stood together in the quiet, the ship moving through dark waters, the future uncertain but somehow less terrifying. Colette didn't know if they could make this work, didn't know if love really could overcome all the practical obstacles, but for the first time in years, she was willing to find out. Real love means taking risks that terrify you, doesn't it? Have you ever had to choose between the safe path and the one that made your heart race? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss how Colette and Nathan face what comes next when their relationship becomes public knowledge. Chapter 4. The next morning, reality arrived with brutal efficiency. Colette woke to her phone buzzing insistently. Texts from Marina, other crew members, numbers she didn't recognize. She scrolled with growing dread. Is it true you're dating Nathan Fraser? Girl, the whole ship is talking. Dina's looking for you. She seems pissed. Marina's message, don't come to crew quarters. Media caught photos. It's everywhere. Colette's stomach plummeted. She was still in Nathan's suite. She grabbed her clothes, dressing quickly while Nathan stirred awake. What's wrong? Voice sleep rough. We've been exposed. There are photos. The whole ship knows. She fumbled with her buttons, panic making her clumsy. I need to talk to Dina before this gets worse. Nathan reached for his phone. His expression darkened. Gabriel leaked photos to a maritime industry blog. He looked up. I'm sorry. I should have anticipated this. It doesn't matter who leaked them. What matters is everyone knows now. Colette's voice shook. I need to go, face whatever's coming. Not alone. Nathan pulled on clothes quickly. We face this together. Nathan, you being with me will only make it worse. I don't care. His voice was firm. I told you we're in this together. That starts now. They made their way through the ship. Colette felt every stare, heard every whisper. Crew members she'd worked beside for years looked at her with expressions ranging from sympathy to judgment to barely concealed satisfaction. By the time they reached Dina's office, Colette felt stripped raw. Dina was waiting, expression grim. When she saw Nathan, her eyebrows rose. Mr. Fraser, I don't recall inviting you to this meeting. With respect, ma'am, anything that concerns Colette concerns me. Nathan's tone was polite but unyielding. I'm responsible for this situation. If there are consequences, I should face them too. The consequences are clear, Mr. Fraser. Miss Hammond violated company policy by fraternizing with a passenger. The photos circulating leave no room for interpretation. I have no choice but to terminate her employment, effective immediately. The words hit Colette like a physical blow. 3 years of work, gone. Her financial stability, gone. her ability to support her family, gone. She did nothing wrong, Nathan said firmly. I pursued her. I convinced her to see me. If anyone should face consequences, you're a passenger and an investor. She's staff. The power dynamic means she's held to a higher standard. That's not fair, but it's reality. Dina's voice softened when she looked at Colette. I'm sorry, Letty. I really am. But I can't protect you from this. The photos are everywhere. Management is demanding action. If I don't terminate you, I lose my own position. Colette found her voice. I understand, and I'm sorry. For putting you in this position, for violating your trust, you've been good to me, Dina. I hope you know I never meant to cause trouble. I know, Dina's eyes were sad. But intentions don't change outcomes. You need to collect your belongings from crew quarters and disembark at the next port. I'll have your final paycheck processed and forwarded. When's the next port? Tomorrow morning, Cozumel. Dina handed over an envelope. Your separation papers. You'll need to sign them before you leave the ship. Colette took the envelope with numb fingers. This was it. The end of everything she'd built. All because she'd fallen in love. They left Dina's office in silence. Nathan tried to take Colette's hand, but she pulled away. Don't. Not here. Not when everyone's watching. I don't care who's watching. I do. Her voice was strained. I care that I just lost my job, my reputation, everything. And I care that people are looking at us and seeing exactly what they expected, a wealthy man and the staff member he seduced. That's not what happened, and you know it. Knowing it doesn't change what people believe, Colette walked faster, needing to get away from stares, whispers, judgment. I need to pack. I need to figure out how to tell my mother that I'm unemployed. I need to... Her phone rang. Rosa. Of course, the universe had cruel timing. Colette answered, trying to keep her voice steady. Hi, Mama? Mija, I just got a call from your supervisor. She said you're being let go? What happened? It's complicated. Complicated how? Rosa's voice sharpened. Letty, you've been at that job for 3 years. What could possibly... A pause. Oh. Oh no, is this about a man? Colette's throat tightened. Mama, I can't talk about this right now. You can and you will. Because your son is standing here asking me why his mother is losing her job, and I need to know what to tell him. The reminder of Marcus nearly broke Colette completely. Tell him I made a mistake. Tell him I'm sorry. Tell him, her voice cracked. Tell him I'll fix this, somehow. Letty, Rosa's voice gentled. Is he worth it? This man? Is he worth losing everything? Colette looked at Nathan, who'd stopped walking and was watching her with an expression of such anguish she felt it in her bones. Was he worth it? I don't know yet, Mama. I'll call you later when I can explain properly. She hung up before Rosa could respond, before Marcus could get on the line. Nathan moved closer. This time, when he reached for her hand, she let him take it. I'm going to fix this, he said quietly. How? My job is gone. The damage is done. There's no fixing this, Nathan. There's always a way. His grip tightened. Come with me. I need to make a call. They went back to his suite. Nathan immediately picked up his phone, dialing with sharp, decisive movements. Owen, I need you in my suite. Now. Bring Gabriel. Nathan, what are you doing? What I should have done from the beginning, taking control of the narrative. 20 minutes later, Owen arrived with Gabriel in tow. Gabriel was handsome, mid-40s, steel-gray hair, expression of smug satisfaction that made Colette's skin crawl. Fraser, I assume you've seen the photos. Gabriel's tone was condescending. I tried to warn you about inappropriate attachments, but I suppose some lessons must be learned the hard way. You leaked those photos. Nathan's voice was dangerously quiet. You violated privacy and destroyed a woman's career to make a business point. I revealed a conflict of interest. There's a difference. Gabriel glanced at Colette dismissively. No offense, dear, but staff fraternization is a fireable offense. You knew the rules when you pursued this relationship. She didn't pursue it. I did. Nathan stepped forward. Gabriel actually took a step back. And you used private information as a weapon. That tells me everything I need to know about doing business with you. Nathan, be reasonable, Owen interjected. This deal is dead. Nathan's voice was flat. I'm pulling out completely. Not because of the photos or the gossip, because I won't partner with someone who treats people as collateral damage. Gabriel's smug expression faltered. You're making a mistake. Walking away from this deal over a woman you'll be bored with in 6 months. Finish that sentence, and I will physically throw you out of this suite. Nathan's voice was ice. Colette is not a distraction or a phase. She's the woman I love, and I will not stand here and listen to you disparage her. The room went silent. Owen looked shocked. Gabriel looked furious. Colette felt like she couldn't breathe. Nathan continued, voice steady and certain. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to issue a public statement retracting any insinuations about Colette's character. You're going to clarify that our business disagreement has nothing to do with her and everything to do with incompatible values. And you're going to ensure that no one in your professional network blacklists her from maritime employment. Or what? Gabriel sneered. Or I will spend the next year making sure every investor in the industry knows exactly what kind of man you are. I have resources, Gabriel, connections, a reputation for honesty that you lack. Push me, and I will bury you professionally. The threat hung in the air, potent and real. Gabriel's face went red with anger, but he was clearly calculating the cost of making an enemy of Nathan Fraser. Fine, he bit out. I'll issue a statement. But you're a fool, Fraser. Throwing away millions for love. Yes, I'm throwing away millions for love. Nathan's voice softened as he glanced at Colette, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Now get out of my suite. Gabriel left in a fury. Owen lingered, expression complicated. You're really doing this, Owen said quietly. Burning bridges over a woman you've known for weeks. I'm doing this over a woman who makes me want to be better than I am, who reminds me that money isn't everything, who sees me, really sees me, and loves me anyway. Nathan looked at his brother. I know you think I'm being reckless. Maybe I am. But I'd rather be reckless and alive than safe and empty. Owen studied Nathan for a long moment, then shifted his gaze to Colette. You love him? The question was direct and uncomfortable. Colette met Owen's eyes. Yes, I love him, even though it's complicated and terrifying and has cost me everything. Everything except each other, Nathan corrected softly. Owen sighed, running a hand through his hair. You're both insane, but I suppose insanity runs in the family. He looked at Nathan. I'll support you, whatever you need, but you're handling the fallout with Dad. Dad's been dead for 5 years. Then I guess you're lucky you don't have to explain this to him. Owen moved toward the door, pausing to look back at Colette. Take care of my idiot brother. God knows he needs someone with sense in his life. After Owen left, Colette sank onto the sofa, her legs suddenly unable to hold her. What just happened? I chose you. Nathan sat beside her, taking her hands, publicly, irrevocably, and I'm not done. Nathan, you can't rewrite history. I made choices too. I knew the risks, and honestly, I don't want to go back to that job, not after everything. Then what do you want? She looked at him. This man who'd just sacrificed a business deal, who'd publicly declared his love, who'd threatened professional warfare to protect her reputation. I want to build something new. With you. If the foundation job offer is still real. It's real. His voice was fervent. We'll build something meaningful together, work that matters, a life that matters. I'm terrified, she admitted. Me too. He pulled her closer. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. Packing from crew quarters was surreal. Marina helped, tears streaming down her face. I'm going to miss you so much, Marina said. Who's going to keep me sane on these crazy shifts? You'll find someone. You always do. Colette's own eyes were damp, and we'll stay in touch. I'm not disappearing. You're moving into a completely different world, Letty. It's not my world either. Not really. Colette paused. I'm terrified I'm going to fail at this, that I'm going to prove everyone right who said I didn't belong. Or you're going to prove everyone wrong. Marina pulled her into a fierce hug. You're the strongest person I know. Just promise me you won't lose yourself in it. I promise. Colette held her friend tight. And Marina, thank you for everything, for being my friend, for supporting me even when you thought I was making mistakes. I couldn't have survived these years without you. Now finish packing before I change my mind and hide all your clothes so you have to stay. Other crew members stopped by. Some offered congratulations tinged with envy. Others offered condolences wrapped in judgment. A few offered genuine well wishes. By the time Colette finished packing, it was late evening. Her entire life in crew quarters fit into 2 duffel bags and a small suitcase, 3 years of work, all compressed into luggage that could be carried off in one trip. She made one final call to her mother. "Mama, I need to explain everything." For the next hour, Colette told Rosa the whole story. Rosa listened without interrupting. When Colette finally fell silent, her mother's response was unexpected. "You love him." It wasn't a question. "Yes, I know it's fast. I know it seems crazy, but yes, I love him." "And he loves you? Really loves you?" Colette thought about Nathan threatening Gabriel, about him walking away from millions, about the way he looked at her. "Yes, he loves me." "Then I'm not worried." Rosa's voice was firm. "I've watched you survive for years, mija. Survive but not live. This man, he makes you live. I can hear it in your voice. So yes, it's scary. Yes, it's complicated. But survival isn't everything. Sometimes you need to be brave enough to reach for more." "What about Marcus? What will he think?" "Marcus wants his mother to be happy. We both do." Rosa paused. "And mija? That money you sent for my medical bills? Nathan's loan? Marcus knows about it. I told him the truth, that someone who cares about you helped when we needed it. He's not stupid. He knows what that means." "Is he angry?" "No, he's grateful, and he's proud of you for being brave enough to take a chance on happiness." Rosa's voice gentled. "We all are. So stop being afraid of what we'll think and start building the life you deserve." The permission, the blessing, made Colette's chest swell with emotion. "I love you, Mama. I love you too, baby. Now go, live, be happy, and bring this Nathan home to meet us soon." Colette laughed through her tears. "Yes, ma'am." Nathan was waiting when she finished. When he saw her, relief flooded his features. "Ready?" he asked. "Ready." She handed him her suitcase. "Where to?" "My suite tonight. Tomorrow we disembark together, and then we start building something new." That night, lying in Nathan's arms, Colette felt the future stretching ahead like uncharted waters, terrifying, exhilarating, full of possibility. "What are you thinking?" Nathan murmured. "That I walked into the wrong room and found the right life," he chuckled softly. "Best mistake you ever made." "Second best." She tilted her head to look at him. "The best was saying yes to you." Nathan kissed her deeply. Colette felt something settle into place. This was right. Complicated, yes. Challenging, absolutely. But right in a way that couldn't be denied. When they finally fell asleep tangled together, Colette's last thought was that she'd never felt more certain of anything in her life. 6 months later. The Foundation's launch event was held in a sleek waterfront venue overlooking the marina. Colette stood at the presentation podium, notes prepared, confidence hard-won over months of intensive learning. Nathan sat in the front row, eyes on her with such pride she felt invincible. "Thank you all for coming tonight," Colette began, voice steady and strong. 6 months ago, I was cleaning staterooms on a cruise ship. Today, I'm the operations director for the Fraser Marine Conservation Foundation. If that seems like an unlikely journey, you're not wrong. But unlikely doesn't mean impossible. She clicked to the next slide, showing the Foundation's initial projects: coral reef restoration, plastic waste reduction, marine education programs. Our mission is simple: protect our oceans while creating opportunities for people who've been told they don't belong in conservation work. People like me. People from working-class backgrounds who understand operations, logistics, and hard work, but never saw a path into environmental careers. The audience was engaged, asking questions, taking notes. After the presentation, people approached to congratulate her. She handled each conversation with grace. Then Nathan appeared at her side, hand finding the small of her back. "You were brilliant," he murmured. "Absolutely brilliant." I was terrified. "Couldn't tell. You commanded that room like you were born to it." He kissed her temple. "I'm so proud of you." Later that evening, after the guests had departed, Nathan and Colette walked along the marina. The night was clear, stars visible despite city lights, the water reflecting the moon in silver fragments. I have something for you, Nathan said, stopping by a bench. He pulled a small box from his pocket and Colette's breath caught. Nathan, before you panic, it's not what you think. Or maybe it is. I don't know anymore. He opened the box to reveal a delicate gold necklace with a small compass pendant. I was going to wait, do this properly. But standing here with you after watching you shine tonight, I realized I don't want to wait anymore. He took out the necklace, clasping it around her neck. The compass settled just above her heart. This is my promise to you, that no matter where life takes us, no matter what challenges we face, I will always help you find your way home. And home is wherever we are together. Colette touched the compass, tears pricking her eyes. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. You're brilliant. You're brave. Nathan's voice was rough with emotion. You walked into the wrong room 6 months ago, and you changed my entire life. I was lost before you, empty. Now I wake up every day excited about the work we're doing, the life we're building. You did that, Colette. You saved me. We saved each other. She cupped his face in her hands. I was surviving before you, just getting through each day. Now I'm living, really living. And yes, it's scary and complicated, and some days I still feel like I'm faking it. But I'm doing it with you, and that makes all the difference. Nathan kissed her deeply. Colette felt the rightness of it settle into her bones. This was home, not the marina or the city or any physical place. This connection, this partnership, this love that had started impossibly and become inevitable. I love you, she whispered against his mouth. I love you too. He rested his forehead against hers. And one day soon, I'm going to ask you to marry me properly, with a ring and a speech and all the traditional things, but I needed you to know right now that this is forever for me. You're forever for me. Forever, Colette agreed, her heart full to bursting. I like the sound of that. 1 year later. The wedding was small, intimate, held on a beach in Cozumel, the place where everything had shifted between them. Rosa sat in the front row, healthy now and beaming with pride. Marcus stood as Colette's escort, tall and handsome in his suit, walking his mother down the makeshift aisle with solemn importance. Marina was there, dabbing at her eyes. Owen stood beside Nathan as best man, his earlier skepticism replaced by genuine affection. Dina Lopez sent a gift with a note. Sometimes the rules are wrong. I'm glad you were brave enough to break them. When Nathan lifted Colette's veil, his eyes were damp with emotion. Hi, he whispered. Hi, she whispered back, laughing and crying at once. The officiant had barely finished pronouncing them married when Nathan kissed her, deep and thorough and full of promise. The small gathering erupted in applause and cheers. I love you, Mrs. Fraser, Nathan murmured against her lips. I love you too, Colette grinned, though I'm keeping Hammond professionally. Colette Hammond Fraser is a mouthful. I don't care what you call yourself as long as you're mine. Ours, she corrected. We're each other's, equal partners, remember? How could I forget? You remind me every time I try to be overprotective. And you need the reminding. He laughed, spinning her around. Colette felt joy bubble up from her chest like champagne. During the reception, Marcus approached with a sheepish expression. Mom, can I talk to Nathan for a minute? Colette raised an eyebrow. Should I be worried? Probably, Marcus admitted, but not for the reasons you think. Nathan followed Marcus to the edge of the beach. When they returned, both were smiling. What was that about? Colette asked. Your son just asked if the foundation has any internship positions for aspiring engineers interested in marine technology. And you said? I said we'd create one, if his mother approves. Marcus looked at Colette hopefully. I want to work with you guys next summer, learn about the foundation's work, maybe design better equipment for coral restoration. If that's okay? Colette pulled her son into a hug, her heart overflowing. More than okay, it's perfect. As the sun set over the Cozumel beach, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Colette stood surrounded by everyone she loved. Her mother, healthy and happy, her son, full of dreams and ambition, her husband, watching her with eyes full of love and pride, her best friend, wiping away happy tears, her new family, welcoming her without reservation. She thought about the exhausted woman who'd stumbled into the wrong room 1 year ago, who'd been so tired, so worn down, that she'd fallen asleep on a stranger's bed. That woman had been surviving day by day, paycheck to paycheck, dream by deferred dream. This woman was living, really, truly living. Nathan appeared at her side, slipping an arm around her waist. Happy? Deliriously. She leaned into him. Terrified sometimes, overwhelmed occasionally, but happy. So happy I can barely believe it's real. It's real. He kissed her temple. We're real. And we're going to spend the rest of our lives proving it. The rest of our lives, Colette repeated, savoring the words. I like the sound of that. Me too. Nathan pulled her closer as music started playing. Dance with me, Mrs. Fraser? Always. They danced under the stars on a beach in Cozumel, surrounded by love and possibility and hope. And as Nathan held her close, Colette sent up a silent thank you to fate, to coincidence, to whatever cosmic force had guided her into Suite 429 on that exhausted night 1 year ago. She'd entered the wrong room and found the right life. Sometimes the wrong turn leads you exactly where you need to be. Colette walked into the wrong room and discovered she'd been living the wrong life. One defined by survival instead of joy, by fear instead of courage, by settling instead of reaching. Nathan found his purpose not in boardrooms, but in the eyes of a woman who saw him for who he really was, not what he owned. What wrong turn in your life led you somewhere beautiful? Have you ever been brave enough to choose love over fear, or are you standing at that crossroads right now, wondering if you should take the leap? Tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one, and your courage inspires me every day. If Colette and Nathan's journey moved you, if their impossible love story made you believe in second chances and brave choices, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Dear Love Diaries for more stories about love, courage, and transformation, because every heart deserves a story where bravery wins.